Hey, it's Darius. And why do you suppose the I-75 course and I have 86 LinkedIn recommendations and the nearest competitors have less than 20? That's because students hit me up immediately when they pass the exam, and they're proud and thrilled to write the recommendation that you're reading here on LinkedIn. Because while they're studying, they know they can reach out to me anytime, and I'll take care of whatever questions or issues they have, turn it right around for them, and that takes so much pressure off. Some of these students have even met with me live before their exam for me to make sure that they're ready to pass. Imagine the confidence going into the exam saying, hey, I just met with Darius, and he said I'm ready to go. And right now we have combo specials going on where you can get unlimited access to all 4 I-75 courses. You get FAR, Audit, BEC, and REG until you pass. You get the video bundles, the test bank, the narrated video simulations, the testlets, with all updates included free. Plus, you get 4 live tutoring sessions with me, and you can take them right before each exam, and I'll let you know whether you're ready to go. For only $6.99, you can get the same special with just 1 tutoring session instead of 4. And we have other combo specials too, so if you only have 3 parts left to go, or you only have 2 parts left to go, check it out at cpaexamtutoring.com. So this is the second video in our series of 5 must-know reg business law topics. And the first one focused on bankruptcy, and now we're going to look at contracts. And you don't have to be a contract attorney to pass the CPA exam, but you do have to know certain terminology. So what's the difference between bilateral versus unilateral? And how do you know whether a contract is bilateral or whether it's unilateral? Well, you would look to the offer. If the offer allows acceptance to be in the form of a promise, then it's a bilateral contract. On the other hand, if the offer requires acceptance to include performance rather than a promise, then it's unilateral. Huh? Let me show you an example. Back in high school when I was a senior, a young freshman girl came up to me in the hallway out of nowhere and made me an offer. She said, hey Darius, I offer to take you to see Genesis in Philadelphia. My favorite band was playing, and she had 3rd row seats, and she offered to take me. But look what I had to do first. I had to take her to her freshman dance. So that was the offer. She offered to take me to see Genesis in Philadelphia, sit 3rd row, but I had to take her to the freshman dance. And I'm a senior at the time, right? Now, if I take her to the freshman dance, that's how I have to accept the offer. She offers. The only way I can accept is by performance. I have to take her to the dance. Well, that would be a unilateral contract. An offer that requires performance in order to accept would be a unilateral contract. No contract would be formed right there in the hallway prior to me taking her to the freshman dance, because I have to perform in order to accept, and performance would mean taking her to the freshman dance. So prior to the dance, she could change her mind about taking me to see Genesis. Because it's a unilateral contract, one party promises, the other party has to perform in order to accept. That's an offer for a reward, would be an example of a unilateral contract. She promised a reward if I acted first and took her to the freshman dance. Now let's tweak that a little bit and make a bilateral contract out of these facts. So back in high school, I'm a senior, a young freshman girl comes up to me in the hallway out of the blue, I don't even know her, and she makes me an offer. I offer to take you to see Genesis live in Philadelphia. I got 3rd row seats, she says, if I promise to take her to her freshman dance. What's different this time? Remember, if you want to know whether a contract is bilateral or unilateral, look to the offer. If the offer allows acceptance to be in the form of a promise, then it's bilateral. And what's the offer say this time? I offer to take you to see Genesis live in Philadelphia if you promise to take me to my freshman dance. Aha. So I don't have to take her first. All I have to do is promise to take her. So once she makes me that offer, and I promise to take her to the freshman dance, I've accepted. And we formed a contract right there in the hallway, bilateral agreement. One promise exchanged for another, right? She offers to take me to see Genesis live in Philadelphia if I promise to take her to the freshman dance. Once again, if you want to know whether a contract is bilateral or unilateral, look to the offer. If the offer allows acceptance to be in the form of a promise, then it's a bilateral contract. On the other hand, if the offer requires acceptance to include performance first, then it's unilateral. So in the case of the bilateral agreement, one promise was given in exchange for the other promise, and that creates a bilateral agreement. We each promised each other something, and because of her offer allowed me to promise as an acceptance. I didn't have to perform first. All I had to do was promise to perform later. Some more contract terms. Consideration, very important term, because consideration is required for a contract to be legally binding. Both parties in the contract must get something and be willing to sacrifice something, be willing to give up something. The consideration does not have to be of equal value as long as each party gets something and gives up something. So the tickets to the Genesis concert were $200, and she paid that before she even knew I was going. The freshman dance was free, didn't cost me a penny. But the value doesn't matter. The fact that we each got something and gave something up, then there was consideration present. And if there's consideration present, then the contract is legally binding. The CPA exam loves the fact that there has to be consideration present and that the value doesn't have to be equal. Was there consideration present to both? Well, she gave up the freedom to take anyone she wanted to take to the Genesis show. She got to go to the freshman dance with a senior. So she got something, she gave up something. I got something, I got to sit third row for Genesis. But I had to give up something. I had to go to the freshman dance as a senior. And I had a girlfriend at the time, and she wasn't too happy about it. A couple of more contract terms. Executory versus fully executed. A contract is executory when one party has yet to perform as agreed. For example, after the Genesis show, the contract was executory until the following month when the contract was fully executed at the freshman dance. So the Genesis show in Philadelphia was on a Friday night, and we went to that. And at that point, the contract was executory because she performed, but I still did not. Until the following Saturday when we had the freshman dance, and then the contract was fully executed. So let's do this question and make sure we have this down. Randy promises to pay anyone in his office $100 if they pick his son Alex up at school on May 3rd and drive him home. What does that sound like? Well, Randy's offering, but the only way you can accept is if you pick up little Alex and drive him home on May 3rd. So this is an offer for a reward. It's a unilateral type of an agreement. You can't accept this offer by promising because of what he's saying here. He promises to pay anyone in his office $100, but they have to pick his son up at school. They can't just promise to do it. Okay, so Lisa, a coworker, promises to be parked at the school waiting for little Alex. That's not an acceptance of this offer. Rich, another coworker, tells Randy that he may be available and will know more the day before. Well, that's not an acceptance either. Which of the following is correct? A, the contract is bilateral because Randy promised to pay and Lisa promised to perform. Well, a promise for a promise would be an example of a bilateral agreement, except when you want to know whether an agreement is bilateral or unilateral, look to the offer. The offer does not allow acceptance to be in the form of a promise. This particular offer does not allow acceptance to be in the form of a promise. You would actually have to pick up Alex in order to get paid. So A's out. Let's look at B. The contract is unilateral because Randy's promise needs to be accepted by performance, not by promising to perform. Yes, that's a pretty strong choice right there, letter B. C, if Rich picks up Alex and drives him home, Rich would not be entitled to the $100 because Lisa promised to perform and Rich did not promise to perform. Now, C's out because this is a unilateral agreement. So promising to perform doesn't help you here. You actually have to perform. And D, this is not an example of an offer for a reward. No, this is an example of an offer for a reward. So B is the best answer. So let me tell you what would happen if both Lisa and Rich both showed up at the school waiting for Alex to come out. Whoever Alex got in the car with and whoever drove Alex home, they would be entitled to the $100. The other one who showed up and didn't drive Alex home would be entitled to nothing. Let's try this one. A unilateral contract. 1. Is an offer for a reward. Yes. 2. Cannot be accepted by a promise to perform. That's true also. Both are correct. Let's go with C. When it comes to reg, you can't forget about business law. Get yourself on I-75, and I'll save a spot for you here in my Hall of Fame.